Art American Library Association Interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights. Although articles of the Library Bill of Rights ambiguous statement basic principles should govern serve all libraries, questions do arising concerning application principles specific to library practices following the documentation designated Intellectual Freedom Committee interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights and background statement of the detailing philosophy history of each. Remains each easy reference documents presented in alphabetical order. These documents prescribe American Library Association have been adopted by the American Library Association Council. Access to digital resource services. Digital resource services allow libraries to significantly expand scope of the information available to users. Like all resources provided in the library provision, access to digital resources service should follow principles outlined in the Library Bill of Rights to ensure equitable access regardless of content and platform amended in 2025. Access to library resource services for minors. The library policy procedure for the effective to deny minors equal and equitable access to all library resources available to other users of the Library Bill of Rights. Available to other users violate the Library Bill of Rights. The American Library Association opposes all attempts to restrict library service with materials facilities based on the age of the library users, amended in 2025. Access to resource services of the school library. School library plays a unique role in promoting intellectual freedom, serve the point of voluntary access to information, ideas, and learning laboratory for students that acquire critical thinking, problem-solving skills needed for pluralistic society. Although the educational level of program, school necessity shapes resource service of school library, the principal library rights apply equally to all libraries, including school library, amended in 2025. Censorship by altering library resources, expurgating library materials, violation of the Library Bill of Rights. Expurgating is defined in interpretation, includes any deletion, excision, alteration, editing, obliteration of any of the part of the books of the other than libraries, resource of the library, its agents, partial institution, if any. Formal title, expurgation library resource amended in 2025. Challenges and resource. American Library declares a matter of firm principle that is responsible of every library to have a clearly defined written policy. Collection development includes procedure for review and challenge resources amended in 2025. Diverse and inclusive collection development should reflect philosophy inherent with the Article 1 Library Rights, Bill of Rights. Books and other library resources should provide with the interest, information, and enlightenment of all the people of the community of the library serves. Material should not be excluded because of the original background view of the contributing with the creation of a diverse collection should contain the content and about a wide array of public people and cultures that authentically reflect the variety of the ideas, information, stories, and experiences forming a diverse collections amended 2025. Economic barriers to the library process. All resources provided directly and indirectly by the library, regardless of the format and method of delivery, should be readily and equitably accessible to all library users. Opposing financial barrier, disadvantaged business. Libraries of all type, public school, academic, should consider eliminating barriers that limit access to library resources to other services. Formal title, Economic Barriers to Information Access, amended in 2025. Education, information literacy. The libraries and library workers foster education and lifelong learning by promoting free expression, facilitating exchange of ideas among users. Libraries, resource programs, services, strengthening access to information, those building foundation intellectual freedom, resolve the intellectual freedom in their roles as educational library workers, create environmental nature of the intellectual freedom of library resources and services amended in 2025. Equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Libraries are essentially democracy within self-government, the policy of the development and successful social progress to every individual inalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So that the library workers should embrace equity, diversity, inclusion in everything they do. Former to equity, diversity, inclusion amended in 2025. Evaluating library collections. The library continually develop collections by adding and removing resources to maintain collections of the current interest and usefulness of their community. Libraries should adopt the collection development and maintenance policy, including the criteria of evaluating materials amended in 2019. Exhibited display with the bulletin boards. Libraries might offer space, exhibited display bulletin boards in physical and digital formats beneath their communities. These use of spaces should confirm an American Library Association Library Bill of Rights Former title user-initiated exhibit displays and bulletin boards amended in 2025. Intellectual freedom principles of academic libraries. Strongly intellectual freedom perspective that is critical to the development of academic library collections serve to dispassionately meet the educational resource need for the college and university community. The purpose of the statement is to outline how and where the intellectual freedom principle fit in an academic library setting, thereby raising consciousness of the intellectual freedom context within the academic librarian's work amended in 2025. Internet filtering. Negative effects of content filters on the internet access in public libraries and schools are demonstrable and documented. Consequently, consistent with the previously resolution, American Library Association cannot recommend filtering. However, the American Library Association recognizes local libraries and schools governed by local decision makers and local consideration must often rely on federal and state funding of computers and on internet access. Because all adults and lesser degree minors have First Amendment rights, the libraries and schools that choose the content filter school filters should implement policy and procedures mitigate with the negative effects of filtering to the greatest extent possible. The process should encourage all user access filtered websites, content unblocked, minimal delay, due respect to the privacy amended in 2025. Labeling and rating system, interpretation of library bill of rights. American Library Association affirms that everyone has the right to their own opinions about the fine things they read, listen to, and watch. Libraries do not support, endorse, promote ideas found in the material of the resource they provide. Offering access to the book and digital resource does not mean the libraries agree with the contents, labeling, rating systems that are conflict with the principle and intellectual freedom amended in 2025 combined with the following interpretation. A labeling system, prejudicial labeling system, assumes that libraries' institutional wisdom to determine the appropriate and inappropriate user of the access presuppose the individual must be direct with the making of their minds of the idea of the examine the American Library Association proved the prejudicial labeling system affirmed for the rights of the individuals to form their own opinions or each of the truth of the read, view, listen to, the otherwise adopted in 2015. Rating system. The rating system are tools and labeled to divide the individual organization provides people regarding suitability content of the material. The rating system appearing in the library catalog discovery system presents a distinct challenge of the intellectual freedom policy. The American Library Association formed for the right to inform and rights of the individual to form their own opinions about the research and truth of the read and review amended in 2029. Library access representation of all sexes, gender identities, and expression of sexual orientation, interpretation of library bill of rights. American Library Association strongly unequivocally maintains librarians have the obligation to resist efforts to systematically exclude materials dealing with any subject matter, including sex, gender, identity, sexual orientation. Former title access to library resource service regarding sex, gender, identity, gender expression, sexual orientation is amended in 2025. Library-initiated programs, resources. Library-initiated program displays utilizes library work expressed with the community interest election service facilities, providing access information resources, introducer, user, potential user, library resource, the library rules, facility information access, concern questions, complaints about library-initiated program display handled according with the same written policy procedure to govern the reconsideration of the library resources. The policy should apply with equally to all of the people included, not limited to the library users, staff, members of the governing body. From former title library initiated program display as resources amended in 2025. Meetings. Many libraries provide meeting rooms and other spaces designated for the use of the public and media for the other events served the community's Article 6 Library Bill of Rights state. Library will make meeting rooms available to the public that they should make the facility available on an equitable basis regardless from the belief that affiliation with the individual group requesting their use. Minor and online activity, online environment offers the opportunity of accessing, creating, and sharing information rights. Minors to retrieve, create, interact, information post on internet. Schools and libraries are extension of the First Amendment rights amended in 2025. Politics in American Library Bill of Rights specifically state that all the people and all points of view should be included with the library material with the information. There are no limiting qualified review point, origin, or politics amended in 2025. Prisoners' right to read. American Library Association serves the compelling public interest for the preservation of intellectual freedom for the individuals aged any age held in jails, prison, detention facilities, juvenile facilities, immigration facilities, prisoner work camps, or segregated units for any facility with the public or private amendment in 2025. Privacy. All the people, regardless of the origin, age, background, view, possesses the right to privacy confidential with the library use. American Library Association affirms the rights of the privacy of the necessary with the intellectual freedom, fundamental ethical practice librarianship to 2025. Religion of the American Libraries. First Amendment guarantees the right of individual to believe in the practice of the religion, practice of no religion, and all prohibited the government with establish endorsing a religions. These freedoms of and from religion are similarly guaranteed in 2025. Restricted access to library material. Libraries are traditionally form of the open exchange information. Attempts restricted access to library materials violate basic tenets of the Library Rights Bill of Rights amended in 2025. Services to people with disabilities. Libraries should be fully inclusive of all the members of the community to strive for the breakdown of the barriers so the access to the library can be a transformational role in helping facilitate more complete participation in society by providing fully accessible resources and services. The universal right to free expression. Freedom of expression is an inalienable human right and foundation for the self-government. This freedom of expression encompasses the freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, association, and association color a right to receive information amended in 2025. User-generated content library discovery layers. Libraries often a variety of the discovery system provide access to the resource of their collection. Such systems can include online public access, catalog, library discovery products, institutional repositories, archival systems with widespread use of library technology, incorporate social media components into intelligent objects. Knowledge sharing tools comes from the ability of the libraries to provide greater opportunities patron engagement. These discovery systems use to generate content. These features may include the ability to use or to contribute to commentary with such reviews, same point, click, and rating systems 1 to 4 star, or to engage extensive discussion or other social interaction. The kind of content could transfer authority files, alter information architecture, and change flow of the information within the library discovery system for the user-generated content with library discovery system amended in 2025. Alright, we have visual performing art libraries. Visual image performance libraries should be restricted based on the content. Library staff shall be interactive, seeking a wide variety of representation. Abstract art, performance art, limitation parameters set only with respect to space and institutional, financial, technical constraint adopted in 2025.